Jim Candy, Part 5, Chapter 5. Once I was away from Stimes, I drove straight to Popeye's. I walked through the gym, searching for Peter. When I couldn't find him, I started my regular workout, doing lifts for the lower body. As I worked, I kept looking for him. He had to hear about Stimes. 40 minutes went by, then 50, then an hour. I walked to the main desk where a guy with about 40 earrings was reading Bodybuilder magazine. "Peter coming today?" I said. He turned and shouted to someone in the back, "Did Peter quit?" "No, at least not yet." The earring guy turned back to me. "I don't know where he is." I returned and tried to do my squats, but my head was reeling. What would I do if Peter left? He was more than my trainer. I trusted him as a friend. He knew everything, and nobody else did. Okay, again, what does that say if you're a high school sophomore and your only friend is a 20-something-year-old guy because you're doing stuff that you know no one else will agree with? I mean, you would think that there are signs there that Mick would realize, something's not right in my life, but he's not. I lifted for 10 more minutes. Finally, just when I decided to leave, Peter strode through the door. He waved to me and I motioned for him to come over. "What's up?" he said, smiling. "You're not quitting, are you?" His eyebrows went up. "Is that what they said?" He shook his head. "I just had an argument with the owner, and if I ever did quit this place, I'd still be around. All Fitness up in Shoreline has been after me for a year." I took a deep breath, relieved. "Listen, probably nothing will happen, but..." As I described what had happened with Stimes, Peter's face soured. "Do you think he'll come here?" "I doubt it," I said. "Teachers are always talk about making calls, but they hardly ever do it." Peter chewed on his lip for a little. "It's illegal in Washington to test high school athletes for drugs. That means he could never prove anything unless you said something." "I wouldn't say anything. You know I wouldn't." He pointed his finger at me. His face was different, almost menacing. "You'd better not, Nick. It would be worse for you than for me. All those dreams about going on to college and the NFL and all that. You get nailed with a steroid rap and you can kiss them goodbye. You'd never play anywhere, not even at Southeast Louisiana Junior College." "I told you I wouldn't say anything." The look stayed on Peter's face. "And don't tell any of your friends what you've done. Not a word to anybody. Ever." "I haven't told anybody, and I never will." "Okay," he said, but there was still anger in his voice. I left then feeling confused. I don't know what I'd expected from Peter, but it hadn't been what I've gotten. His distrust. I drove home, ate the steak dinner my mom made for me, and then started up the stairs to my room. I'd taken a couple of steps when I reversed myself and went down to the den. Sure enough, there was the second article, framed, hanging next to the first. I heard footsteps and turned to see my mom. She came and stood by me. "I'm so proud of you, Mick." She gestured towards the articles. "I know how hard you've worked to accomplish all this. I'm very, very proud." So immediately after his conversation with Stimes, Mick goes to the Popeyes gym, tells Peter what happened, and instead of comforting him and telling him everything's gonna be okay, Peter gets upset at him, right? And basically threatens him, or does threaten him. And this is because Peter can get in huge trouble, number one, for dealing to a high school kid, but we also know that Mick is not Peter's only client, right? He has a whole business going on here, a whole little steroid empire going on. So he could get in huge trouble and go to jail for all this. So he threatens Mick. Mick's feeling all alone, right down, goes home, looks at those two articles on the wall, and his mom comes up and tells him how proud she is of him. She knows how hard he's worked for all of this. But can he feel truly happy about that? Because again, yes, he has been working hard, right? Let's get that straight. He has been putting in the time in the gym, running, preparing himself for the season. But again, can he take full pride in that? Because it's not all him, right? It's also the drugs that he was using. The following school day went along like most school days. Practice was the same, except the whole time I kept sneaking looks at Stimes, afraid of what he might be thinking. Nothing happened on the field, though, and nothing happened in the film room. After practice, as I was heading out, Drew called out to me, "Hey, Mick, wait up." I stopped, and he caught up to me. "So you going to Heather's birthday party?" The invitation had come a week earlier. She was having a swimming party at Green Lake Pool. After I'd opened it, I shoved it in a drawer, undecided what to do. Part of me wanted to go so I could try somehow to make things right with Kaylee, but another part of me wanted to let all that go, at least until football season was over. "I don't know," I said. "Why not? It'll be fun. I'm not that big on swimming." Drew's voice went low. "Is it the acne, Mick?" "What?" I said, startled. "Your acne," he replied. "That's why you stopped going to Green Lake in the summer, isn't it?" You were afraid we'd want to go swimming and you'd have to take off your shirt and Kaylee would see your zits. I reddened. I have no clue what you're talking about, Drew. Just listen to me, Mick, okay? And don't get mad. My dad had bad acne. He's always been afraid that I'd get it too. And I started to last year. But the thing is, there's medication now. He took me in and I take these pills and they work. Just get your parents to take you to your doctor or go on your own. As he spoke, all the shame I'd felt on the pier came back. Right after, the anger came too. Say something, Mick, Drew said at last. I've already taken care of it, Drew, I answered, my voice cold. All my zits are gone. If you'd like me to take my shirt off for you, I will. Forget I said anything, Mick, okay? I took a deep breath. Okay. He looked me in the eye. I was just trying to be a friend, he said. I know, I said, suddenly realizing he's my only real friend. So here we have Mick, again, deciding not to have a social life, wanting to focus on football, which there's nothing wrong to focus on something for a little while, but his friends want to see him. It's just a birthday party. Drew mistakes the fact that Mick doesn't want to go for the incident that happened over the summer where Mick had really bad acne and his body was puffy. And so Drew tries to commiserate with him and be like, hey, I used to have bad acne too, but now I'm on some medicine the doctor gave me and I'm okay. There's stuff out there that can help you, right? Drew's trying to be a friend. And instead, that just upsets Mick. Drew apologizes, and Mick realizes at the end of this chapter, right, that Drew is his only real friend. Because Peter is certainly not a friend to Mick. And Mick has really distanced everyone else out of his life, including Drew, but Drew keeps trying to get back into his life and be a real friend to him.